Hey everybody, I have a really short instructional video for you today, just continuing a little bit on finding the x-intercepts from quadratics. So I just have two examples and I wanted to show you something that you're going to see in your assignment coming up, and I wanted you to be aware of it and be prepared. So the difference between number 1 and number 2 and the problems that we've done so far is your first coefficient is negative. All the problems that you did on the prior assignment, this first x was positive. It had like a positive 1. So now this is like a negative 1 and a negative 1. So I wanted to show you what you do if you have that situation and you're trying to find the x-intercepts or the zeros of this equation. So if your leading coefficient here, the a term, is negative, the first thing that you're going to do is factor out a negative 1. So when you take a negative 1 out of this quadratic, it's going to then become positive x squared plus 4x plus 3. And then we're just going to factor this like we would normally have it, okay? So I'm going to factor this, and that's going to be x plus 3 and x plus 1. The negative 1 is still there, but we don't need it anymore. So if you see me not write it back down, that's why, because we don't really need it to find the zeros or to find the x-intercepts. So now that I have both of my factors, I'm going to set them both equal to 0. So x plus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 1 is equal to 0. Subtract 3 from both sides in this situation. So this x value is going to be negative 3. And subtract 1 from both sides in this one, and this x value would be negative 1. So if you're working it out by hand, you would literally factor out a negative 1 first. That's going to leave you with a positive quadratic, and then you just factor that and find your solutions or your x-intercepts from there. You could also put the original quadratic, including the x, into Desmos graphing calculator, graph the parabola, and pull out the x-intercepts from the parabola on the graph. So second example is going to be the same thing. The first thing that I'm going to do, since my leading coefficient is negative, I'm going to factor out that negative 1, and that's going to make my quadratic positive x squared, positive 8x, positive 16. So now I need to think what two numbers multiply to give me 16 and add to give me 8, and that's going to be x plus 4 and x plus 4. Since they are both the same, I only need to set one of these equal to 0. So x plus 4 is going to be equal to 0. Subtract 4 from both sides, and your x-intercept is going to be negative 4. So what that means is this parabola is only going to touch the x-axis one place at negative 4, 0. Just another quick characteristic trait, since both of these parabolas start off with a negative, they both would open this way, okay? So the parabola is going to be an upside down U shape for the graph. So again, you could factor out the negative 1, find the factors, and then find the x-intercepts, or if you have access to Desmos graphing calculator, you could plug both of these into Desmos graphing calculator, check out the parabola on there, and then find where it intersects the x-axis from there, okay? So that's it, short and sweet. Come and see me in Zoom if you need any help. I miss you guys. Hope you're doing well. Bye.